For centuries, Baleed Archaeological Park stood at the heart of the frankincense trade. This is not just a historical site, it's a complete experience. A place where archaeology, maritime history, and nature come together along the calm waters of Khor al-Baleed Lagoon. Once a natural harbor, this coastline welcomed ships from across the ancient world. If you are planning a visit, late afternoon around 4 p.m. is ideal. The light softens, the heat eases, and the ruins begin to glow with a quiet warmth. What you see here today are the remains of the ancient city of Zafar, a port that existed long before Islam, dating back nearly 4,000 years. From this very coastline, one of the world's most precious commodities began its journey. Frankincense. Harvested in the valleys of Wadi Dawkah, these desert tears were shipped from Zafar to Africa, India, and China, connecting this quiet corner of Oman to a vast global network. Travelers from centuries ago left behind vivid descriptions of the city. Marco Polo described it as a place of great size and splendor, where the frankincense trade was so valuable, merchants could earn extraordinary profits. The best way to explore the vast grounds is by buggy, a relaxed ride through what was once a thriving medieval city. Further ahead, the city begins to take form. Defensive walls stretch across the landscape, not just to guard against invasion, but also to protect the city from seasonal flooding during the Khareef. Nearby stands the imposing remains of the citadel Hassan al-Baleed, a fortified complex that once oversaw trade and protected the city's elite. Built with stone, plaster, and coral, it reflects a deep understanding of both environment and defense. From here, the city was watched, protected, and governed. Scattered across the site are the remains of homes, merchant houses, smaller mosques, and traces of industry. Even today, fragments of imported ceramics found here hint at how far-reaching Zafar's connections once were. This was never an isolated city, it was part of something much larger. You can see the remains of the horse stables. Only foundations remain today, but centuries ago, the space would have been alive with movement, the sound of hooves, the energy of trade, and the presence of Arabian horses that were as valuable as the incense itself. Close your eyes for a moment and let the silence of these stones fade into the bustle of a living, breathing fortress. Among the most significant remains is the Great Mosque of Zafar. Dating back to the 9th century, this vast structure once held rows of limestone columns along with spaces for gathering and ritual purification. Archaeological studies reveal that this mosque once held 144 limestone pillars. While time has brought many of them down, some have been carefully restored, allowing us to walk through the echoes of what once stood here. At the center lay an open courtyard where the community gathered, and nearby places for ablution, where worshippers prepared for prayer. Even in ruins, there's a quiet sense of order here, a rhythm you can still feel as you walk between the columns. A reminder of a time when this space was filled not with silence, but with voices, movement, and devotion. Not every story here is one of trade and movement. Some are far more still, a symmetry, simple, weathered, and deeply humbling. As you walk through the ruins of Al Balid, you will start to see pieces of daily life everywhere. Excavations have turned up things like pottery, oil lamps, coins, and jewelry. Simple items from a city that was once a busy center for trade. To get the full story, you should head to the Museum of the Frankincense land. Inside, the history becomes much clearer. The museum features exhibits on Oman's seafaring past and ancient trade routes, including detailed models of the landscapes you just walked through. Before you go inside, take a look at the large model of Wadi Dawkah located just outside the museum. It's a great visual of how connected this whole region used to be. As we were leaving, we saw a royal motorcade pass by. One striking red car stood out, a color reserved for the Sultan's guard. It was a brief but powerful moment, showing that while ancient Zafar is now in ruins, the country's leadership and identity are still very much alive. This was a city of trade, faith, and global connection. Standing here, it's easy to imagine the ships leaving these shores to carry frankincense across the world.